This is me at the heart of my community. Today's Gospel reading is a bit about community. It talks about how people live and how they're governed and what they're afraid of and what the relationship is between those who are in charge, those who have the power and those who don't, between the governors and the governed. Here we are in a very different part of that same community. And I suppose that today's Gospel is also about the relationship, not just between the governed and the governors, but also between the living and the dead. John the Baptist is in Herod's dungeon. He criticised the ruler for marrying his brother's divorced wife, and Herod's wife and daughter trap him into promising to behead John. It's a simple and an awful story. Why didn't Herod just say, "You're not on. I promised to give you a gift, not to commit a murder"? Well, because power had seduced him and corrupted him. He put the empire before God's law, and he couldn't defend the empire by sending the wrong message. As a ruler with power, his own prestige and security came far before the wishes and the priorities of his people. Lesson 1 from today's Gospel: power corrupts and then destroys itself. But as I said, the message is also about life and death. Lesson 2. Right beside this story comes the tale of the feeding of the 5,000. The leftovers from that meal were not a severed head on a plate, but 12 baskets full of crumbs. Herod's birthday banquet was a feast of death. Jesus' banquet, with 5 loaves and 2 fish for 5,000 people, that was a feast of life. This is all about an alternative vision for living. Power versus caring. Death versus life. I can think of nothing more topically important in our life and in our world community. Whether we're talking about world hunger or climate change or economics or politics, or all those things, since they are inextricably intertwined. Herod said, John must have been raised. The truth was much more startling. God's own Son was showing us a way of life that will see us through death and beyond, not just as individuals, small and insignificant as we are, but as the whole of creation. The right choice depends on us.